Okay, we're just about to start here on the Deep Creek Trail hike from the 441 down to Deep Creek. I'll show you here the trail sign in a second. And thanks to my parents, with all appropriate social distancing, mask, cleaning solution, and everything, we are all set and ready. They were able to take me and drop me off. And now I'm ready to start the trail. We started by dropping my car off at the Deep Creek campground, located just outside Bryson City, North Carolina. My parents were kind enough to drop me off at the Deep Creek trailhead, the one located on the 441 or Newfound Gap Road, about a mile from the turnoff to Kleeman's Dome Road. After leaving my car, the plan was to hike straight down the Deep Creek Trail for 3.8 miles to the intersection with the Fork Ridge Trail. From there, I would then hike another 3.5 miles to reach campsite 55. That's about a tenth of a mile short of the Poe Road Creek Trail, and that would be my campsite for the night. The next morning, I would continue on down the Deep Creek Trail, passing Martin's Gap Trail after about 0.8 miles. 4.2 miles after that, I would reach the intersection with the Loop Trail, and then the Indian Creek Trail intersection about 0.9 miles after that. From the Indian Creek Trail, it would be only 0.8 miles to reach my car in the Deep Creek campground. Okay, as you can see here, we're right ready to start. We're going to head on down the Deep Creek Trail, starting right here on the 441. Beautiful little flowers. See if we can adjust that a little bit. Just truly beautiful. Here we have the woodland bluet, or purple bluet, sometimes called Venus's Pride, Houstonia purpurea, one of my absolute favorites. As always, we have our beautiful ferns. Unfortunately, with this COVID stay-at-home focus, I've not had a chance to get my field guides. Regardless of which fern, they're always beautiful. Okay, this was the same one we saw on our Abrams Falls hike. And the same beetle. And if we go up angle, you can see. Meanwhile, back to the hike. As you can see, we are carpeted by this beautiful little plant here. You see a little bit of moss mixed in. And of course, nice little red berry. And here's yet another one. Unfortunately, what started off as so pleasantly cool, as in very upper 60s, low maybe 70, is now starting to warm up a little bit as I've begun to descend from the 441. As you can see on the ground here, it is just littered with the mountain laurel blooms that are so pretty. In many a hiking video, you will hear it discussed. What a wonderful opportunity it is to be away from the stresses of everyday life. So many of the stresses which, while they do have their root in things we should be aware of and doing our best, ultimately we often cause more stress than we need when we have such a beautiful remedy that allows us to let our mind breathe, let the soul come into closer contact with this maker. What a beautiful sense of serene peace that nature can provide. We have a very interesting fungus here. Oh, it's the tip of my tongue. Actually, no, it's on the tree. Very cool. You can see multiple examples of it here. Here's another beautiful, dainty little flower. There we go. There we go. As you can see here, we've got another fern. Regardless of the species, they are always so soothing to see. Okay, here we have some false Solomon seal. Get a little closer there at the terminus. You can see where all the blooms would have been. But very, very pretty. I love those grooved, alternating, tapering leaves. You can see beautiful coral here, then another one at the top. Nothing is beautiful as water rushing over the stones. And of course, some of us are a little less concerned about our pace on the trail than others. And we come to our first waterfall. Okay, here we have another one. This one's in much better sunlight. Really pretty. Always makes me think Queen Anne's lace. Well, so far I've been fairly fortunate. Nice open trail, beautiful vistas. But occasionally you have to expect the trail to get a little interesting. Just take a look. Makes it something to get your attention. I really hate scrambling on the side with a backpack on. One of the things I love about this as you look along the shaded hillsides here are the mosses, bryophytes in general. But mosses, particularly club mosses, you get the right situation and it looks like you've got your own personal little forest in miniature. I'll show you what I mean. Zoom in just a touch. Looks like their own, like I said, their own little forest. As you can see, we're now starting to look down at Deep Creek, the early part of Deep Creek, before we get to the Forney Ridge Trail. As you will probably recall from previous videos, I do love the Mountain Laurel, that geometric polygon shape to their blossom. Rhododendron, all of those are beautiful. Fortunately, we still have a few blooms left. As you can see, we have a few over here. So very pretty. Rhododendron are not to be outdone, are they? Our maker was beyond kind to give us so many vibrant colors. So here we go. Boy, that is a sight that is difficult to tire. Or sighting. Okay, uneventful crossing. And look at this. Stream loves us so much, came back around. It's slow going mostly because I'm scanning the sides of the trail. There's all these just rich abundance of shrubs, ferns, all kinds of beautiful greenery. Thinking a type of trillium. Nothing like a slightly damp trail to make the passage more interesting, not to mention slippery. Thank you, grippy boots. Okay, we have another shelf fungus that I think it looks pretty cool. This one is kind of more of a brownish look on the top. And if we go up here, you will see some more white and creamy on the underside, but nice and very brown on the top. If we go up a little bit, you'll see what I mean about that nice creamy underside view. And yet again, another stream crossing. So there are a few. How about that? Okay, let's try not to get too wet. I guess we'll go downstream for a little bit. Aha, here we are. Back on track. Okay, we have ourselves another little flower. There we go, very.
This one was a new one for me. This is the mountain mint. This particular one, if you look close, you will see on those tiny petals the little splattering of purple. Very pretty. For the fungi, I must again apologize for not having my field guides with me. I believe this one, some species of Amanita maybe. Of course, we have several fungi examples here. We also have some more of the Indian cucumber root. At the very end here, we have some very pretty leaves. I don't know if they're from an orchid or a lily, something of that nature. Here we have another trillium. This one, based on the rounded shape that tapers to a point, almost heart-like. I believe it's a trillium erectum, basing that on the shape as well as the fact that where the blossom was is above the leaves. Whether it's the white erect trillium version of this species or whether it's the wake robin purple trillium, I don't know.
One of the things I love so much about being out in the forest, in the wilderness,
particularly in the Smokies. Oh, I cannot tell you how beautiful Yosemite was. Some of the other national parks, Olympic, just there is profound beauty everywhere. But in my humble, totally biased, I guess, nothing can beat the lush, rich greenery, the oozing life everywhere. It's just gorgeous and green. And I love the shaded tunnel-like little passageways. Some of the trails, particularly, you get it just right, and you can see that you get this feel like a little passage tunnelway with the dappled lighting, making it look like a tunnel. You get just the right one where it does the S-curve, and it's just beautiful. In fact, here's one. This reminds me of it a little bit. And it is just spectacular. Just missed. Came around the corner and it just right off the trail. Snake, very dark, kind of brownish. Wish I had not had my mind on something else and maybe I could have caught him on camera. Okay, as you can see, we have another moss-filled log. All kinds of these beautiful white fluffy.
This is where I really wish I had my field guide with me. This one is a fluffy white one, polybore. We have I love the yellow orange on this one here. Beautiful. My favorite so far is the white bergamot, as you can see here, which is sort of like a white version of the crimson bee balm. Leaves, you gotta love the shapes of the leaves here. They are really interesting. Of course, my favorite here, one of my favorites, is the false Solomon seal. See these all up and down the trail.
This is one of the things that I live for when I come to the Smokies. Not only the lush greenery, but the waterfalls. And to have a framing like this is just picturesque, to put it mildly. As you can see, it is just a beautiful little portrait in and of itself.
Once again, I was looking for a place to sit down and rest, and this looked like a great place to do it. I know I've mentioned this before, but the water seems to have a mesmerizing quality, not unlike that of staring at the flames of a campfire. In this case, the auditory and visual nature of the water itself as it rushes through the channels and tumbles over the rocks. It has a soothing quality that accentuates the restful peace that we enjoy. I've really come to enjoy this one, the wild hydrangea. There's something that's just soft and gentle about it. Again, for the mushrooms, I'm assuming this is an Amanita, maybe the Amanita anusta. The sori are fun. My joke to my classes is that, the spores of the fern are a sight for sore eyes. Here's the ramp. This kind of a onion garlic mix, if you will. Used to go to the ramp race that he held over in Waynesville when I was younger. Okay, here we have the spotted wintergreen, or Pipisawa. Here we have the mayapple. This one is always
I love the large leaf, and the fruit looks so interesting hanging down from it later on in the season, as you can see. This particular one, I believe, is the hemlock varnish or hemlock conch. We also have the white or roseberry rhododendron. I love the iridescent speckles on the top petal of the bloom. And of course, finally, the crimson bee balm, which is sort of the red version of the white bergamot.
Okay. I have been giving my phone the break for a little while, charging off my lithium-ion battery, and just doing stuff with my 5D Mark III. But decided to take it off charge, put it back on, because I don't know. I'll show you right here. We're getting close, I think, to our intersection. Oh, looks like we got a new one here. Fairly nice about it. It was about, maybe 10-15 feet ago that I just showed you the pictures and the stills and video from my Canon for the garter snake. Here is 15 feet later, yet another one right on the trail. It is being really good sport. Okay, I went down the Fork Ridge Trail just a little bit, and it's just such a beautiful stream with the fallen logs and the rushing water. Just look too pretty. And if we pan over here, you can see after that creek crossing, you got a bit of water to go through here. Either hop rocks very carefully, or just plan to get your feet wet. Oh well. Like I said, I'm only about 30 feet down the Fork Ridge Trail from Deep Creek, so I'm going to turn around and go on the Deep Creek Trail again. All right. This is what, 59 or something? But not bad. Very close to water. This is campsite 53. As you can see, really nice. Flat area, places to put your tents. There's some areas we can do hammock. Nice shaded spot over here. Just come right over here. You can see right up the, you don't even have to go down to the big main Deep Creek. You got this nice little tributary. Time for us to keep on heading down. That was campsite 53. We are 55. Okay, here we have another beautiful mushroom. So you can see the underneath side, best we can get it. There's another pleasant view. Still moving along, would you believe, Deep Creek Trail. I know, the whole hike is Deep Creek Trail. Okay. It's ever changing, ever the same. So many beautiful stream crossings, which are beautiful until you fall and break and ruin your equipment. Have to love those stream crossings. This is how we get across this one. Okay.
I can't tell you how many times while watching other backpackers' videos I've thought, that's not that bad. Now I think I may have done him a disservice. I can see from looking here at my own video that it doesn't look all that bad, but let me tell you, it was much more slippery treacherous footing deeper than it appeared to be from the screen. So I decided to err on the side of caution and be extra careful.
A little precarious. And frankly, I'm going to need my concentration. So I will come back to you in a moment. Okay. I was able to get across without falling in. Although I did have to put my foot in about halfway up my laces. That's okay, it's Vortex, it's waterproof. Let's see here. I had to take off my my camera, my 5D Mark III, and I had to set this rig down, lean over, make a big split onto the rock, set this down, set my camera down on it, take them off, and then go to the other rock, then pick it up. But, worked out. As you can see, it's worth it just for getting that shot. Okay. We have ourselves another stream crossing. See if we can do this without falling. Alrighty. Okay, you gotta love it when it's nice and stream side. You get to look right at the stream instead of hearing it through 100 feet or so of trees. Ah, we have another one, very pretty.
At this point, I was 2 or 3 miles in and appreciating the physical challenge that this particular hike provided. I appreciated it so much, I figured I'd do my impression of a limp noodle while I attempted to recharge a bit.
Not too bad. Well, another stream crossing, but I just had my boot from the heel of my left foot all the way up to, about an inch and a half, maybe 2 inches behind my big toe, separate. So I'm wearing a high top flip-flop. Fortunately, I had some, I'll show you the repairs I did for that, but I'm not sure I want to dunk that underwater now. A little less enamored of the idea.
You'd be surprised how often even the most simple tasks can jump up and surprise you if you don't really concentrate.
Oh well. Guess we'll just have to look at some of these, take my mind off it. Or, if that doesn't do it, we have some of these. At least there's compensations. As you can see, it's just one crossing up there in the back top of the picture versus yet another right here, one after the other. That makes about almost half dozen. Oh well. Time for us to continue on. And this looks suspiciously, yes. Aha! You can see the line for the bear bags, or to haul up your bear.
That would be impressive. Okay, what I actually meant was this is, of course, where you would haul up your bags out of reach of the bears at night.
So we must be at campsite. Yes, campsite 54. So let's take around here. I've already shown you the bear bags, or the, I'll just use that term to mean the place you haul up your bags from the bears. Not a bad campsite. Beautiful campsite. Beautiful. The log to sit on. Extra little clearing for the tent right there. Another hammock. It's going to be a little harder in this spot. Okay, let's continue on. I like the dappled lighting here. Going right along the log. It makes it like a fern-covered bench. I know we've got lots of footage of rhododendron, but just how spectacular is that? That's dog hobble. Get another pretty bit of stream. Man, that blowdown section back there, it's like a big jungle. Rock stream jungle, and you're trying to find your way through. I think my GPS is saying that we are getting close to a marker. I was rather suspecting it, but nice to have a confirmation. I think it is indeed. Oh wow. This is a nice spot. It's got a table, chairs. Okay. That must be another entrance. The main entrance. Oh yeah, there's for stock. I'd rather take stock of my feelings. Some people would rather take stock on the trail. Now for the ladder, there's where you tie up. Oh yeah. This looks like it. Assuming this is campsite 54. 54 is pretty good. Yes, there's the confirmation I needed right up here.
I love the sort of reddish-brown, indistinct banding concentric pattern working its way to the center. The slight concave, upturned concave shape and the gills that you can see here.
And verify that this is indeed... No! This is campsite 55. Alright, that's mine. Of course, I don't have the most expensive equipment, but it does fairly well for what I have to work with. It does okay. And obviously, I have some other equipment. I'll show you this here. Okay, now this is in 4K. This is my 5D Mark III. It is a great camera. Of course, it's about 6-7 years old or so. And it is 1080p. Light's going here, so I need to hurry up and finish this, get the firewood together, and start food. But fortunately, I was able to connect with the owner of Sway Hammocks, Seth, a fantastic young man, really. Now you can see the gray in my beard, so when I say that, you understand I mean that respectfully. Really great guy, cares about what he's doing, has very much an interest in producing a fantastic product. I'm new to hammock camping, and that's what he's producing, but it is phenomenal. It is your top quilt, it is your underquilt, it is your hammock and rainfly. Now I don't have the rainfly set up because I'm tempting fate. And 3 for the rainfly, and all the equipment you need to secure the rainfly, to secure the hammock around the trees, every bit of it comes 3.1 pounds. Your entire sleep system. This thing is phenomenal. So I did look through the instructions quickly. Watched the video once, make sure I had it. But of course, in the course of a day's hike, out the head. So, Seth, if I've done this incorrectly, please pardon me. This is the Ira or Era. It's the EIRA, Era hammock. This thing is very comfy down. It's supposed to be, from what I've been told and looked at reviews online, getting you down into the 30s easily. And of course, if you use a sleeping bag inside it, you can go quite a bit further. But just, I mean, as is, it's phenomenal. And if it's warm weather, you just don't zip it up. Here, let's go down here, and you can see it goes around the tree, and from the skewers comes down that cinches to it, and then you can see the hook going in there. Oops, I have that facing down. I'll try and rectify that later. All right, straight into the hammock itself. Yeah, the down tech, you can see I still have, I have not taken everything off yet. It is phenomenal. Okay, I have this zipped open at the moment, so you can see where the zippers come together, but as you open it up, you can get inside, and then you can zip yourself all up in it, leaving just a little opening for your head at one end or the other, whichever you like. Or you can just leave it all the way open for when it's warmer weather. And it's just absolutely plush. There is nothing quite like getting nice and comfy. But you gotta admit, not a bad way to just relax, and it is comfy. For my family members who are not able to be here, just terrible. I'll have to just sit here and lie and think about it.
Unfortunately, my phone does not have a sufficiently functioning microphone to be able to pick up my voice. What I was commenting at this point was that there are a number of things that I appreciate from YouTube hikers, some tips that I've picked up. For instance, Syntax77 had mentioned the little square of Tyvek is awfully nice. It's ultra strong, light, and very small, and it's wonderful to have a clean surface to sit down or stand on. Also, I have him to thank for turning me on to hammock camping. I cannot begin to tell you how much I appreciate that. It saves me over 4.5 pounds. As you saw earlier, it's a tremendous asset if you get the right hammock. The food is also something else that I've enjoyed learning about. I love that some people are willing to just gut it out and carry the extra heavy stuff to have a gourmet meal, but I'm so out of shape that I have to go for every weight-saving opportunity I can. I love the pad thai from Backpacker's Pantry. Not the chicken one, but just the straight regular pad thai. I have to order it online, but as a vegetarian, it's a nice option to have. It won't fool the discerning palate of a customer at a good Thai restaurant, but it is quite good, and it has all the fixins.
Oh, one other thing before we lose all our light. I went ahead and set up the rainfly. Now, I know that I'm not setting this up correctly. My first time ever having it out of the sack was when I pulled it out here tonight, or this afternoon. So, needless to say, I will be watching that video and looking at the instructions very carefully to see what I did wrong and how to improve. But even as I have it here, it looks like it's going to be very nice.
It's about 7.5 miles to reach the campsite here. And much of it was downhill, but quite a bit was uphill as well. I was also commenting here that the boots were beginning to give me trouble. As you'll see in the next day, the left boot, the sole had separated clear up to the proximal phalangeal metatarsal joint.
about 3 inches from the tip of the big toe. It was like wearing a high top flip flop. As you'll see later, I have multiple cords securing the sole to the rest of the boot to keep it on so I can make it down. And I also noticed at this point that it was starting to separate on the right boot as well. I also discovered since this point that it was not the Vask boots that I had purchased from a big outdoor sports store in Alaska. It was instead the store brand boots from this big outdoor sporting store that I had purchased in the late 90s or very early 2000s. I commented further that, this particular point in our history, with the world, our nation, and the world experiencing a lot of difficulty and turmoil, that it was an awfully good time to use the peace and contemplation made possible by campfire, to perhaps use it in prayer. Prayer to pray for each other and for our country. I went on to say that with the next day's hiking being a little over 7 miles, it wasn't too bad, and that we'd be passing Pole Road Creek Trail and Martin's Gap Trail, Loop Trail that intersects with it, and eventually Indian Creek Trail, and finally my car at the Deep Creek Campground. Last of all, it made me think of a quote by one of the authors. There's many authors who have talked about the peace and solitude of nature, but this one author, Mrs. White, has an interesting quote, I think, from page 16 of her book, Country Living. It says, "Go where you can look upon the works of God. Find rest of spirit in the beauty and quietude and peace of nature. Let the eye rest on the green fields, the groves, and the hills. Look up to the blue sky, unobscured by the city's dust and smoke, and breathe the invigorating air of heaven." It just seems so appropriate to the beauty of the Smokies. Don't know if you can see this, but these little guys have been just all over. I leave it for just a second, and they're all over my camera. Even the one I'm holding, the gimbal here, my backpack. I guess they're just used to investigating stuff at a campsite, maybe. Over here, you can see they are just going nuts everywhere in here. Well, about ready to go here. I take a nice leisurely morning. Got up about 5:45, but about 8:25, so time to get going. Well, beautiful campsite. As you can see, a couple trees together, works great for the hammock. And you give them a second hammock. Picnic table, everything you could want. And now we're going to head on out. I think that's Dog's Hobble. It's Deep Creek to our right by about 30 to 50 feet. How's that for just a nice peaceful fern meadow? Man, I love the rhododendron and mountain laurel, some of the gorgeous blooms. Representatives. Let's see this one here. Okay, we are here at Deep Creek. You can see the bridge that crosses over onto Pole Creek Trail. And therefore, no great surprise, you have Pole Creek itself entering in. Okay, as you can see, we are on Deep Creek Trail, and it's only going to take us about 7 miles until we reach the campground. And right here, you can see the Pole Road Creek Trail. That heads on up to Kleeman's Dome, Nolan Divide as well, but and that's the trail I took when my very first backpacking trip ever. And there it is. Came from Kleeman's, came all the way down from Husky Gap Trail, intersected and came on down, crossed Kleeman's Dome Road, came down Pole Road Creek Trail, hit Deep Creek here, and came on down. As you can see, just as pretty as you could ever want. This is where I ate supper last night, where I could just look and stare out at the creek. Go over here, you can see the entrance to Pole Road Creek itself. We're only about a tenth of a mile down from the Pole Road Creek Trail. This coming campsite up here, I believe, is the one where we actually camped on my very first one. So this is only like around 0.2 of a mile from the first campsite, campsite 55, where I camped. But they've done some trail maintenance on here and mowed back the growth, or weed eated it probably. I wish they had done that on the earlier parts. But this is a beautiful campsite as well. I mean, just nice and open as you could want. Okay, you can see here, very open, nice, big, wide and open, smooth and flat. Man, this is even better than 55. That's campsite 56. Onward, I've got about 7 miles to go. Okay, this is a treat. We have an actual board walkway. Very much appreciated. I repaired this at camp before I started, but for some reason it decided to come off and come undone. So I'm going to have to do a little more thorough job. It's just separating, come right off. Just for that. So, let's see here. Get that underneath. Let's get this right here. This one right here. We're going to do a very
Again, I wish I had my field guide, but I love the burnt copper color and texture. Hemlock varnish, and it really does look varnished. It is beautiful. Nothing like a rustic bridge to enjoy the view. Looks almost like a gem-studded puffball. As you saw from the still photos that I inserted into the video, we passed Martin's Gap Trail a little bit ago. And alright, this thing is coming up here. The handheld gimbal started the day here at 47%, and it was dropping into the 30s, so I decided to recharge it. Hooked it to my lithium-ion battery, the big black lithium-ion battery here, and charge it up as I went along. In fact, it's being charged right now. I love some of these tunnels. You can see so much of the maintenance, all the weed-eated plants and stuff, the work that's been put onto it. Okay, as you can see here, we are coming up on what looks like
yet another campsite. So this, probably 58, I think. There we go. As you can see, very, very nice campsite. And you can see right here, right on the edge of the creek. That is Deep Creek. For a minute there I was thinking it went on this direction. Okay, this campsite, I did not see a sign for it. Just about 50 feet from campsite 58, we have another crossing here. Love these little bridges. They have that little boxed in stone on either end. Yes. A delight to the eyes, isn't it? Now that is always a pretty sight. Until you stop to think about the fact that I was right at water level not long ago, and in order to get this view, had to do unspeakable things, such as elevation gain. Ugh. But it is well worth it. Isn't that just beautiful? Meanwhile, on with the hike.
Here we have some type of amanita, I believe, some species. Of course, the maidenhair ferns. I love these. I think this is the northern variety. Just a beautiful, artistic format.
That's a pretty little hidden gem. That is incredible. That is. Goes out to the trail. Wow. Benches. This is a two-part campsite. Okay. Right to the water's edge. This is, wow. Everything from 55 on down is a great campsite. Now back to the trail. Well, just after walking out of campsite 59, I saw right across the trail, a little cove there, the very first person I've seen since, July 2. And he was on his way up, so first person since being dropped off yesterday. The Lord is so good to us to provide such imaginative beauty. And I gotta find myself another place to do a boot repair. That double knotted one for my second repair in the right shoe, right boot, that has come off. Love these little guys. They look so much like the perfect little umbrella. I just finished doing my third repair on the right boot. For some reason that cord that I go around the boot over a groove in the heel and back up to the front, I tied a bow and tied a knot with that, came off somewhere. I stopped and did a second repair that came off. Finally, I figured out with the stresses, it gets just loose enough to fall off forward, and it comes off. So this time, I untied my shoe, tied that strap around the heel tight, as I could get it, and this time, I tied my laces over top of it, holding it into place. So let's hope that third time's the charm. Okay, I just earlier, about 10 minutes, 15 minutes ago, came across a couple that were hiking up, young couple. They were heading up to the campsite I had just passed, and then just now passed a bunch of about maybe 12 people. You can tell on this lower stretch, once you get below campsite 59 or so, Martin's Gap on down, you're going to start running into a lot more people. It's a lot more, you're pretty close. You're within a day hike reach of the Deep Creek campground. So you can get a lot more people that want to do the short distance. It is kind of nice though, in the upper reaches. Well, not that many people go there. I have yet to hike the Deep Creek Trail from bottom to top. That, man, I would be impressed as a 20-something doing that. As multiple decades beyond that, I've got to get a little further back in shape before I do that. But it would still be beautiful. That is always a pretty sight. Okay, fifth repair. And finally, I think I have figured it out here. Okay, as you can see, it is separated clear up to here. So this one had multiple ones. The back one, even on my left one, shoe came off. I thought that was the one that was good. But because of that angle, as I wear and step on things, it'll shove it off forward. So even at most, it'll just hold it dangling there, and eventually it's going to come off completely. So I went around and then overhand, then around the back overhand and tied. And that should give it the pull, and then the backwards pull to keep that under tension. Hopefully that'll work. We'll see. Looks like we're coming up on campsite, I believe it's 60, into campsite 60. Oh, wow. There is just not a bad campsite along Deep Creek. Another one over there is a nice campsite. Yep, sure enough. Campsite 60. Okay, I can see something of a dirt road beside us, probably for park purposes. Yep, no surprise. Deep Creek Trail. Now I'm interested. Yep, no bikes beyond that point. Where does that go? I'll have to check. Meanwhile, the trail gets ever nicer and easier to walk.
While I expect to see wildlife, the nature of this encounter did surprise me.
Well, as you can see here in the distance, Fawn and her mom.
I was expecting that we'd see the deer and the doe and her fawn here just hang around for a few seconds and then take off up the hill. I had no idea that they were going to hang around so long and even actually come towards me. That was really a surprise. By the way, I had to use my Canon because this was just way too sudden to get my 4K phone. Now here, I was thinking, yeah, Junior's going to go with her, and that's going to be the end of it. But I forgot. All youngsters seem to have a little bit of either the stubborn streak or just downright curious. And the fawn actually stopped for a second, turned towards me, and actually started heading in my direction. I couldn't believe it. And it got fairly close. It just seemed somewhat cautious, but also just really wasn't sure. I was curious. Now, it would turn a little bit one way, it would walk a little bit, turn a little bit the other. Finally, it decided, it's time to get going. And it actually started heading even more in my direction. So close that I held my hand up here just to show you how close it got.
We are fast approaching a bridge and a sign. Aha! This is where the loop trail enters. Let's get this back to. There we go. We are coming up on another intersection here. I think this is going out to the Falls. Huh. Okay. Deer Creek Horse Trail, Falls, all that. No thanks. I'll wait and see Junewink with my daughter. Yep. Let's stay on here a little bit more. Indian Creek Trail in 1/10 of a mile. Loop Trail in 1 mile. We're getting there. Yeah, we are, yep, there it is. Fast approaching on Indian Creek Trail. The last time we were here hiking, we had cut off there to the left where you see the people. They hit the Loop Trail, the Suncoda Ridge, Martin's Gap, back down to Indian Creek, and back out here. Now, that's where we are, now continuing on. As you can see, Friday, a 4th of July weekend here, and it is popular tubing. It is slammed. Okay. Coming up on, I think, the lower entrance to Junewink Falls. Yep, that's the one. Onward to the car. Okay, here we are at the trailhead.